Hey, y'all doing all right? Good. Listen, y'all, I want to talk about something right quick, and it shouldn't take me long. A good 30 minutes, we'll get this in. Pastors who build empires. This is a thing, and this is something that I was raised up under, these empirical pastors. And some of it is not their fault. I think a lot of it has to do with who their fathers were who built these empires. They're called dynasties. Let's talk about it in about 60. You good. You good. You good. You good. Don't stop.
Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sirwalterj. Sirwalterj.
He's got something to say. Sirwalterj.
Sirwalterj.
Report live 7 days a week, always on time, but his time is not free. So Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the weekend edition, baby. Hi, it's coming in. Good to see y'all. PJ Guitar, blessings to you from Georgia. CB and Rogers and Sister B and Tanya, Tina, Linda, Arthur Johnson. Just a few of us here. Listen, I use the word dynasty for a reason because I went to Google Spears. And here's what it say. A dynasty is a series of rulers or leaders from the same family line. It can also refer to the period of time when a country is ruled by that family. Same family. Dynasty. We have set up our churches as a dynasty. It doesn't matter if God had called the son to preach or not, or called the grandson to preach or not. We have set our churches up as a dynasty, and we went with it. It was a dynasty, then it became a business structure. I'm going to play a video here from Mark Sharona, okay? I don't know what Mark been around for a long time. He had some questionable, teaching styles back in the day. But today, I'm going to play a video from him, and we'll see if we can analyze this and find out why is it that these pastors are running our churches like they're big businesses. Now, every church should do business because you have to pay the salaries and you have to pay the mortgage, you have to take care of the utilities, what have you. So yeah, every church do operate in business, but they should be in existence because they are a church of faith. The ecclesia come together for worship. Mine house shall be a house of what? Not business, but of worship. And one reason why Jesus whipped the money changers because people were selling stuff inside the temple. All right, well they were not near the holy of holies, but in more on the where the Gentiles were. That's a whole nother story. That's another story. All right, so in our churches, we are running it like it is a business. And so we move from talking about one thing of spirituality to more of a natural, literal, physical, that is, natural and physical. And we're talking about against our enemies. And our enemies is not Satan and the demons. No, our enemies in our churches are not principalities and dominions and powers and high places. No. Our enemy is a person. It is a person or a personality, all right? And so our sermons have been coined haters. My haters this and my haters that, to the point to where even our so-called gospel songs implement the haterade in the lyrics. Yeah, it's competitive, Oscar. My church is bigger. My church is better. We have the baddest band. We have the baddest choir, which ain't too many choirs left. We have the baddest praise team. We have the baddest mime. We have the baddest what do you call them, dancers. We have the baddest flag team. Okay, we have the baddest. We have the baddest that. So these megas, even these smaller churches are boasting on either how great their church is based off of its business dealings and its social consciousness, or they are bragging on the pastor and how great of a CEO he is. So we are jacked up, and this is why so many people are so lost in the world, because the church has turned this into a segregated thing where, and I get the whole separation of church and state. I get that. That was for the protection of the church. I get it. But the problem was we got so segregated that we became cultish or cultic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oscar. Oscar, you gonna teach us with me? Huh? Is this the Oscar Sims show? Strip club mentality. So I'm gonna play this. Larry Reed edited the video. This is Mark Serona, but somebody sent it to me and I thought it was great and apropos for what's going on right now. So I'm gonna play the video, even though it's got Larry Reed's name on it. This is not him. He's just sharing it like I'm sharing it. Okay, I couldn't find the actual video without the Larry Reed's signature.
To all of you that are emerging leaders as senior pastors in the emerging generations, listen carefully, because I'm staying really focused on the topic at hand. The rise of the CEO pastor and the corporate mindset overtook the church a number of decades ago.
Yes.
Somewhere along the way, the church stopped asking what it means to be faithful and started asking what it means to be successful.
Yes.
And that shift changed absolutely everything.
That shift changed everything because it's all about the money. How can I be successful? All right. It's all about the Benjamins, because as soon as you bring in an evangelist, a prophet, or whoever you want to bring in, he's going to eventually talk about the money. He's going to talk about the bottom line, and he's going to push what is spiritual and layer it over that what is financial, and he's gonna tie your spirit to what's in your wallet. He's gonna tie those two together, and those two would follow him through that whole sermon, through that whole service. It's gonna follow. Money and spirit got to come together. All right, and if you can't separate them, so which means those who are poor in that service they don't feel like they're a part of that. Tell them what I know. When it came time for offering time, there was a tithe envelope and there was an offering envelope, and you had to raise it in the air, and this is my yada yada. I am what I say I am. Okay, I know that I'm two different scripts, and you do all these things. And there are people on the seats who don't have any money. They have nothing. And so they feel a certain kind of way that they can't feel a part of the church. Mine house shall be a house of prayer. This is a house of praise and of worship. And so how we are operating in our churches, it becomes a money scheme in a sense. And the people who have nothing feel like they can't be a part of it. So they'll come to church at a certain time so that they will miss that part, or they will fake it till they make it. So they will fill out an envelope, but they won't put any money in it. It'll be blank. They might put a fake name on it, or they might even not put nothing on it. They stand in line, or they stand up because they want to feel like they play a part. It's the same thing that poor people do when they want to act wealthy. Y'all buy these expensive cars. You walked in there with a 500 FICO score. You were subprime. They gave it to you anyway. You're paying $1,000 a month on that thing. You got a 25% interest rate on that truck, but you sure look good, don't you? All right, you got your Louis Vuitton bags, and you go to the convocations and the conventions. You got your fur coats, what have you, but your house is upside down. And your bills are so high, you got credit card debt, but you're trying to look like you're wealthy. You see, but if you ever look at a billionaire, billionaires dress like me.
When pastors became brand managers, congregations turned into consumers, and the pulpit became a platform for influence rather than a place of sacred proclamation. We lost something essential. The CEO pastor is not a scriptural figure.
No.
He or she is a product of the industrialized, efficiency-driven culture that measures success by output, scalability, and visibility.
Output.
In a world where corporate metrics determine value, we exchanged the slow, cruciform work of discipleship for expansion models and leadership strategies borrowed from Wall Street and Silicon Valley. I was part of that generation.
Yep.
What was once a sacred vocation formed by prayer, suffering, and wisdom has been repackaged into a career path measured by audience size, book deals, and social media reach.
Yep. Book deals, social media reach. Buy my book. You got a preacher who come there. He got a stack of books already, and before he does his sermon, before he opens the Bible, one time he said, "Now in this book I wrote back in 1906, and this book is about how to entangle yourself with the riches of the bank accounts." Okay. And in 2002, I wrote this book here. This book says wealth. God wants us all to be wealthy. And then in this book here, for the ladies out there, ladies, you in the room, hey, ladies, this book is for women. This is a woman's Bible study. And what is this? This is how to empower yourself by paying your taxes on time and where to get that money from. Okay. All these books is about wealth. And it's all about empowerment, and it has nothing to do with spiritual growth. And it has nothing to do with outreach and evangelism and missionary work and doing good. Let me tell you, the greatest way to become wealthy is to be worried about other folks. I know that sounds weird, don't it? God was possessive over, obsessed is the better word. God was obsessed over people helping other people. All through the Old Testament, he was obsessed with it. And then brought it over to the New Covenant through Jesus Christ in the New Testament. He was obsessed over blessing and helping other people. And when you do that, he says, you're lending to me. These people were made in my image. All right. And so as I blessed you, it's time for you to bless others. And then he had to remind the children of Israel that you were once strangers in a land that was not yours. I took care of you.
Shift, my friends, was not accidental. The late modern church, particularly in the West, has been shaped by the logic of consumer capitalism, where growth is the highest virtue. The megachurch phenomenon reinforced the belief that bigger is always better, that a church is healthy if it's expanding numerically, and that pastors are successful if they're building an empire. As theologian John Drain warned us in 2012, in the McDonaldization of the church, we began valuing efficiency over depth, control over mystery, and predictability over the unpredictable movement of the Spirit. We wanted to be in control. But what happens when you scale something that was never meant to be mechanized? You create systems that are unsustainable, leadership models that crush those within them, and an ecclesiology that rewards performance over authenticity.
Wow.
When pastors become executives, their congregations become an audience to be retained rather than a people to be shepherded. What's the result? Burnout, moral collapse, disillusionment, and a shallow spirituality that thrives on spectacle but lacks the substance that belongs to Christ.
Wow, let's rewind that.
What's the result?
Listen to the result, you all. Listen to the risotto.
Burnout, moral collapse, disillusionment, and a shallow spirituality that thrives on spectacle but lacks the substance that belongs to Christ.
Spectacle.
What's most troubling is that this model was never challenged. It was embraced. Christian leadership books began to quote business gurus more than they quoted Jesus. Church conferences became indistinguishable from corporate leadership.
It's difficult to hear Jesus being quoted in the churches today. You are quoting gurus. gurus. You're quoting from man. And when we go out, we've been discipled to our church and to our pastors. So when we go out, you'll say, my pastor say. And then my pastor say, and my pastor say. No, but what did the Lord say?
Leadership summits. The pastors as visionary CEO became the default model, and the language of strategy and branding replaced the language of shepherding and servanthood. But here's the truth. Jesus never built an empire. He never strategized growth models. He never cultivated a personal brand. He never measured his influence by numbers. The moment the church forgets that leadership is cruciform, it exchanges the authority of the cross for the power structures of the world. And when the world sets the terms, the church loses its soul.
Yes.
So here's the question every emerging leader needs to ask themselves. Are you a shepherd or are you a CEO?
Ooh.
Because the one lays down his or her life for the other, for the sheep. The other monetizes them. And if something in you is stirring as you hear this, if you're wrestling with what this means for your calling, you're not alone. These are the conversations we need to be having, and I'd love to walk alongside leaders who know there has to be a different way. More soon. Stay with me.
There must be a different way. There must be a different way. This woman is doing voodoo at the Super Bowl. she doing voodoo at the Super Bowl. She trying to get rid of me. I don't know if y'all saw that. That's hilarious. This is sad, you all, and there must be a balance. Listen, y'all want to talk about money? Fine. Tell the people to come out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They love. Okay, I don't know why that came in my head. If you want the people to learn about money and finances, well, have them come out during the week. And y'all sit down with a financial advisor, bring them in. But let me tell you something. You need to be talking to the total man, the whole man. If you're going to bring in a financial advisor, I need you also to bring in a psychologist. Do you hear me? If you are going to bring in a financial advisor, be sure. Bring in a psychologist. You got to. And then bring in a nurse or a doctor or someone who's dealing with health, who can help you with that. You understand? You have to. Because you're dealing with the total man, the whole man, and the whole man is not about money. Because if a man is jacked up here, he won't have no money. All right? And then everything happens to him because even the physical part, when I say bring in somebody who's dealing with health, it all starts here. And your mind can actually do much of the healing. Your mind could heal you in many cases. This psychosomatic thing that we think might be superstitious, as a man thinks in his heart. That's up here, y'all. So is he. Okay, well, we could fight over the context, all right? I've dealt with that before. But let me tell you, my father, who is battling cancer right now, that thing is in his lymph nodes. It's in his spleen. It's in his stomach, all right? It was trying to go into his pancreas. And he's weak. Had chemo last week, and so his appetite is not there yet. Y'all have had family members who battled with cancer, so he's going through the same stuff that your family members went through as well. All right, weight loss and just all kind of just your typical stuff. We saw it with my grandmother. Well, we saw it with my mother. So we're sitting with my father, but this time, now we are bombarding heaven like we've never did before. His sons and daughters, all right? And so I walked in the room yesterday. It was yesterday to see my dad's at home, all right? He's staying with my sister Precious. She's the main caretaker for him. And so we do our shifts. We go over each day and we do our shifts. When I went over there, my father was laying in the bed and he was so weak. He was so frail. He could hardly speak, and he just don't look himself. He wasn't his typical self. And it's hard to see your parent in that state. All right, well that thing is in his body trying to do what it's trying to do. But we were hopeful because the doctors are saying that his vital signs are everything, all the tests that the typical tests that comes back are good. They like, he's really pretty good for that thing to be attacking his body like that. All right, so y'all praying really is working because the doctors are a little like, they're like, okay, the man is in his 80s and this stuff should be wiping him out, but all his vitals are great. We're like, yeah, because the bunker's been praying all over the world for my father. Of course his vitals are great. But my point of bringing this up about health and mentality and what have you is my brother Michael and his wife flew in from Miami a couple of days ago. So I walks in the room. My brother Rodney walks in the room. My brother Michael walks in the room. And that frail, very just downtrodden, sickly looking man, old man at that, when he saw his son, the transformation that came over him, he leaped. He just got up. He was so frail. But when he saw his sons, we said, Daddy, get up. You got a doctor's appointment in 30 minutes. And yes, sir. He got up, and I thought we all had to go reach over there and grab him and help him to the restroom. Nope. He got himself up, and he walked himself to the bathroom, did whatever he needed to do in there, and he came out. He said, all right, boys, let's go. I'm like, wait a minute. The man was sitting there looking like he was dying, but he saw his sons. He saw his sons, and we helped him down them long stairs, and he got in my car. And as we were driving to his doctor's appointment, my father sounded like the father I've known. He still was telling his jokes. He was being funny. He made us look silly, okay, because he's the funniest one in my family. Why? Because there was something up here. His eyes was connected to something up here. Man, if y'all got great mental health can heal you all. And I believe in my heart of hearts that the presence of my father's sons is doing more for him than any of the medicines that the doctors are giving him. All the chemo in the world. All of the, what's that thing y'all do when you're trying to get better, the physical, whatever the physical thing y'all got to do, you got to check in, do the physical thing. All that stuff. He got to go through that. But the biggest part of his healing is when every time he sees his posterity, something comes over him. I'm telling y'all that because that mental health is what heals us. Mind, the body, and the soul, and the spirit. And this is why they ask, which is the greatest commandment? And he says to love the Lord your God with what? Ooh, all this stuff is up here. Your mind, your body, your soul, with your might. Everything starts in the mind. Thank you. Physical therapy, MLG, okay? Everything starts in the mind. And so if you're going to talk about financial anything in the church, y'all talk about that too much. You need to talk about mental health. And it doesn't mean that people in there have mental illnesses, although I think most of your churches, if not all of your churches, got at least one person that's in leadership that has a mental illness. I might be laughing, but I'm serious as a heart attack. No pun intended. I can almost guarantee you that there's one person in your church in leadership who's struggling with some kind of mental anguish. He or she. Come on, SD. Sound like a book. the healthy relationship and its effects between fathers and their families. Come on, SD. I believe in my heart of hearts, you can't get me to say otherwise, that somebody in leadership at your church is dealing with something up here, and they're dealing with some kind of abuse or some kind of abandonment, or Lady Wisdom said just one. Or dealing with some kind of abandonment. They're dealing with some kind of separation anxiety. All right, they're dealing with fatherlessness or overbearingness or over nurturedness or all these things, and it was not dealt with, and they became pastors and elders and deacons and all kind of stuff in your churches, and now you got people who are mentally ill who are ruling in your church. I'm trying to tell you, you visit your brother in the ICU, BP decrease, O2 was 100, heart regular, even sat up and talked. I'm telling you, Cheryl Kelsey, sorry about that. I'm telling you, when families see family, that is the part of their healing. And this is why I told y'all yesterday that when a couple been married for years, well, my mother and father were married for almost 60 years, and then she died. We had to keep an eye on my father. We had to keep a close eye on him. We had to come and visit him. We had to take him out to dinner and for lunch and breakfast, and maybe see if he's interested in another woman. Okay, we had to do that. Why? Because if typically when couples are married that long, same wife, same husband, that long, and one die, you better watch them. Keep your eye on them, because you about to lose that one too. Keep an eye on them. And so family, I believe, has kept my father alive and healthy. My mother died in 2019. So my father has already outlived your typical statistic. He has already outlived because we are constantly surrounding him with some kind of appearance and love and affection and what have you. We are keeping him alive. And if he didn't have these children, he probably wouldn't be here. He probably would have left here maybe a year, maybe shorter than that after that, because my father absolutely loved my mother. They were on honeymoons all the time. I have never, ever seen a couple like that in my circle of influence. I've never seen a couple like my mother and father. Never. Not in the black family, I haven't. No, I don't know many white folks like that, but I've never seen it. They were always in each other's arms. Inside the house, on the front porch, in the car, at church, they were always up under each other for almost 60 years. So when you see a couple like that do that and one dies, the other one is on their way to meet them in heaven. You understand? Or wherever they go. So we had to be with my father. We had to make sure that we take care of him, make sure that we were in his life, and we could not replace my mother. But mental health is vital. So you ought to keep fighting over what's going on in your church. I'll keep looking at this because I got to go get my hair cut. And we worried about this and worried about that as far as my haters and this kingdom that y'all set up and this dynasty y'all set up. Listen, I'll do a part 2 tomorrow about this because it's ridiculous. Get out of that church. Go somewhere where there's a well-balanced teaching. Get out. Do something for yourself. Get out and meet people. Take vacations if you can afford it. Go somewhere you've never gone before. Take a drive down another street on your way to work. And when you go home from work, drive down another street, right? Take another expressway. Oh, get up earlier and take the local streets. All right, go somewhere in the summertime. If you live up north, because you in the south, you don't have to worry about summer. Wait for summer. Take a walk in the park. If you have someone with you, someone that like a spouse or someone, take them for a walk. Just walk and watch and look up and see how God is showing off. He is giving you all kind of mental medicine by just going out and just taking a walk. Do something different. You all go to your Bible study and during the week, and then you go to church, and that is your whole life. and then you go to work every day. That's like your whole life. And that's all I saw coming up with even my parents, and even my parents were different though. My parents believed in taking vacations. They went to Hawaii, they went to Miami, they went to even when they went to conventions, it was vacations for them. They had a timeshare down there at the old folk place down there, and is that Missouri? Is that what's that old place down there in the South where all the old people go? All right, not Nashville, although they've been up and through there. But what's that place? Is it Missouri? Somewhere down there where all the old folks go for their thangy. Okay, the timeshare and all that stuff. My parents went everywhere. All right, they boat trips, you name it. They just did that stuff. Not Boca Raton. Down there where the old folks go and they all the entertainment and what have you, and they don't go down there to retire. No, not Florida. Somebody's gonna tell me down there. I think it's in Missouri. Man, it's somewhere down there. All right, they did all that stuff. Do something, y'all. Thank you, Linda. I knew somebody was gonna give it to me. Brandon, Branson, not Brandon. Branson, Missouri. They love going down there and just doing something different. Don't go to church Sunday. I didn't go to church Sunday today. Today is Sunday. I didn't go to church today. I didn't go to church last Sunday. Guess what I'm not going to do next week? Now, I might go visit one of my brothers. I don't know. Maybe next Sunday. But I haven't been to church in 2 Sundays. And let me tell you, that has been some of the best sleep I've gotten. My mental health is so much better these last 2 weeks than it's been in a long time. And let me tell you, ask me if I missed church. And then they might be watching, so I got to be careful. Ask me if I missed church. Shoot. And if it was summertime, I would have woke up this morning and took my bike out there, and went to the lakefront and just rode my bike for a couple hours. On a Sunday morning, while y'all in church speaking in tongues, I'm out there with them white folks up and down the lakefront. I'm so glad you're speaking about this need for a well-balanced teaching. Just as spiritual fitness is important. Mental. Tawanda Good, my dearest little sister. I love her. I'm telling y'all, you got to do this. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. I stayed home today. And oh man, I ate some good lunch, that is. Could have made some breakfast, made some lunch, and I just hung out with family. That's all I did. Enjoyed it. I watched some of y'all's, I watched on the thingy. I watched the service. I thought, oh, that's great. That's nice. Oh, all right. Praise the Lord, y'all. Praise the Lord. I turned it off. I stretched, and I lounged, and I'm good now. All right? Y'all do something different. If the pastor can do something different, y'all do something different, all right? Meanwhile, go to Patreon at the Sirwalterj Jones Show. Go to Patreon. You want to talk about finances? We do that over here for $5. We do that over here. We don't talk about finances on Sirwalterj Jones Show every day. We are well balanced. We talk about politics. We talk about finances. We talk about relationships. We obviously talk about the Bible. We talk about sex. We talk about health. We talk about mental health. All right, physical, anything on this show. So when I pick a subject you don't like, don't watch the show. But yet you're in the comment section fighting over me over this topic here. But I don't ever see you when I talk about the Bible stuff. You don't come over here when I talk about the finance stuff, but you don't come over here when I talk about certain stuff, because we all just go online, we keyboard warriors, and we fight with certain people on a subject that matters to us. But I'm trying to teach y'all to be a well-balanced saint. Be well-balanced in everything. And if you go to a church and all your pastor is talking about is my haters and my finances and your finances and sow a seed and he gives seed to the sower and all the same old rigmarole, aliasi, and all this stuff. Listen, you need to go somewhere else. You need to do something else. Go somewhere else. Go visit. Let me tell you, if I leave my church and I'm done, meaning my membership, and if I tell my pastor, that's it for me, I'm done, I'm resigning, I'm moving my membership. Guess where I'm moving my membership to? Nowhere. I will never ever be a member of another church for the rest of my life. Not me. I'll come visit you all, but you'll never ever see my name on another roll at another church house. Ever in the American history of Sirwalterj Jones. Never. Not happening. I'll come visit y'all on a Sunday. I'll say hi. I might even play your piano if you want me to. I might even preach for you if you like me to. All right, I'll wave my flag and do my dance, do whatever. But as far as being a member of another church, never, ever will I join that institution, ever. All right? Now, I ain't telling y'all to do that, but I'll never do it again. But I'll keep preaching, and I'm gonna do field work. I'm gonna be out there preaching. I'm gonna be out there passing out food and water, finding out what I can do to help our brothers and sisters out here who's going through stress, and I'll still be trying to see what Haitians are doing. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find some my Hispanic friends who are on their way to be deported. I'm see what I can do, maybe feed them, do something, whatever I need to do. That's my mission. That's the Sirwalterj Jones Show mission. I'm gonna use this platform for that. I'm gonna use Patreon for that. I'm gonna use Facebook for that. That's my mission. That's my mission, y'all. All right? I'm hoping maybe that's your mission too, but I'll never ever join another church. Ever. You heard it here. February the 15, 16, I don't know what's today's date. What's today's date, y'all? You heard it here on this show. Hey, y'all, what's today's date? I don't even know. It's the 16th, February 16, 2025. You heard it here. All right, I love y'all. Take care of yourselves, one another. I got 15 minutes to get to my barber, and that's how long it takes me to get to my barber. He might be watching and saying, if that food is late, I know why he late. Yep. I'm going to do the Great Commission, Abundant Life. I'm going to go out there and compel them. Jesus never told them to stay inside and compel each other. He said, go ye therefore and teach all nations, making disciples unto Jesus Christ, not unto myself. That is going to be my mission for the rest of my life. I'll help out somehow, but I'm not giving y'all no money for no building funds either. Nope, he don't need another building. This is why I get in trouble. I get in trouble. Everywhere I go, I get in trouble from the institutions. I get in trouble for the way I talk. That's why they don't invite me to preach no more. I got the bunkers. I preach to y'all. And the Lord has blessed us. He has instilled in us the truth, and we thank God for it. We love y'all. Take care. Movie night, 8:30. Movie night, 8:30, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's a great movie, y'all. I meet y'all over there on Patreon, Sirwalterj Jones Show. You want to hear more deep teaching, more deep stuff, more crazy stuff from Sirwalterj Jones? Go over to the Patreon, and we'll see you there. Meanwhile,
The 4 Women That Men Desire by Sirwalterj Jones is a women's guide to men. The author's endeavor to expose men fundamentally with his perspective on the types of women that men truly desire. He has meticulously penned a brilliant and controversial read, bold in its assertion that all women fall into one of 4 categories. Girl A, the side chick. Girl B, the mistress. Girl C, his soulmate. Or Girl D, his fatal attraction. And when a woman walks into a room, her category is showing. The 4 Women That Men Desire is funny, informative, and enlightening. It is a quick read and a must-have for your library. Head over to Amazon.com for your copy.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?